All right, everybody, settle down.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Let's Play and Perform from Second Shout Studios. This one, we've got a very special smaller game off of itch.io, Academy Carols Dual Chroma. It's a very fun, nice little wintry, holiday-themed one that we wanted to put out there into the world a little more. Hopefully we can see some fun experience with these guys. We got a pretty small cast tonight. I think this might be the smallest cast of a Second Show Studios project.
Smallest cast of any project ever. Actually,
I've been told
That's
this is
crazy.
normal size.
Honestly, it's a little too big. Also, I would love to mention the reason why we came across this game and why we're doing it is because we met up and we're like, all right, we need to do something on this date, and then we said, what's something gay and Christmassy we can do?
I specifically
And now
said,
we're
what's
here.
something... Alice suggested a game, and I said, I like that. That sounds cool. Can we make it gayer? And then Nolan found this.
I think you found it.
Oh, Kyle.
I did not find this.
Never
I
mind.
just ran it.
Slay. Kyle found this.
Well, speaking of, why don't we get into the beginning here of Academy Carols? The days are short and cold, and the wind carries a biting chill. Yet, it's my favorite time of the year. Elor Rona, with its holly trees and festive songs, is just around the corner. Noah, take over.
I caught myself humming a tune the other day. Could you have pictured me doing that last year? Back then, I had just been initiated to the mysteries of...
Now, where do we get our magic?
Ooh.
Y'all?
Oh! Who's the hottest?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, who's the hottest?
I'd
You
say
see
Mercy is the
flowing hair
hottest.
on
Yeah, Mercy.
Mauritius?
Or
No,
wants
look
to.
at that
Okay,
flowing
but
hair
also-
on Mauritius.
Okay,
But we
there it
could
is,
also
yeah.
choose Goku.
True.
We could also choose Goku. This
You
is
could power
true.
up for the next 5 scenes.
I mean, they all seem cool.
Well,
This is
no, but what's
mostly
your
just
favorite
flavor
color?
that we get, so...
My favorite color is pink, and none of them are pink.
there we
Purple?
go.
Or one
Purple?
is pretty pink. Just saying.
Purple. I like purple. My second favorite color is green. I mean, she's pretty. I think we go with Rona.
Yeah, because I think
I like
the other main characters are these three. So we will have overlap if we go with them. Or something of our own here.
Purple. Purple.
Purple.
Daisy likes purple. Peach likes pink.
I like purple too, but can you guess my favorite color?
What?
Guess your mine
I was
is.
so... Is it green? Yippee! Okay, sorry. I was so desperate to know my fate that my eyes were clouded to divination. Do you remember how we first met?
What is our character's name, Noah?
Oh,
And
Michael! No, it's not Michael.
Luigi.
Kyle, what'd you say?
No, that's fine.
Luigi.
Not
What about-
Luigi.
Michael
Not-
Hunt.
Michael Hunt.
Wait,
That's
wait,
a
no.
great name.
What about Mike Hunt?
Oh, that's a strong name. That's a strong
I
name.
think that's a good name. Are we doing that?
I
I think
Yes,
we should.
are. I think we
Yeah.
are.
We'll let the censors worry about it later.
Mike Hunt uses he, him pronoun. That is very
Yes.
important to know.
Continue. Lock it in. Last winter, the brittle cold had already set in by the time the students had begun to trickle home for the holidays. I must be the only one staying at Lumen's Academy over the break. Elor Rona was a special time of year for my family, but admittance to the academy was expensive, even on scholarship. Between Mother expecting a new baby and the winter lull in sales, it was more important than ever to be frugal. Watching the ever-dwindling population of students file out of the academy grounds, overloaded with luggage, only made me wish I could afford the trip home. I sighed deeply and looked away from the window. Nobody had come to bid me farewell. They had no reason to. I was not their friend. I was the commoner classmate. Enough moping. The break had officially started. There was only one thing left to do. Studying is lame. Finish wrapping the presents for my family. I had skipped a couple of meals to buy them what I could. Modestly made toys for my siblings, a scented candle for my mother, and a coarse leather belt for my father. I headed back to my room, trying to think of a way to make everything fit in the single box I had bought. I had everything. Scissors, paper, ribbons, and got to work. Why was I worried they wouldn't fit? Even after stacking all the presents, the box was still half empty. I was suddenly startled by the chime of my message stone. Who was trying to contact me? I lightly tapped the stone. The warm voice that rang out was masculine and exuded confidence.
Attention all remaining students. Please make way to the library to discuss potential festivities on campus. Let's join together to celebrate the holidays.
He sounded too young to be a staff member. Intrigued by the promise of company, I set the gifts aside and found myself drawn to the library. It was rare to see the library so quiet. Only one student sat by the frosted window, cutting a striking profile against the white-hot sky. The candle he held bathed his face in soft light.
Good afternoon.
His eyes met mine as I entered, and a handsome smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. No doubt he was the one who left the message. Your idea sounds great.
An introduction would be even better.
Allow me. I took a step forward and curtsied. I'm Mike. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I was close enough to notice the glint of gold cast in his eyes. Such a mesmerizing color.
You can call me Keldran.
Keldran? You mean... His uniform was much nicer than mine, and the epaulets made it look almost military in cut. This was...
Yes, the second prince of the Galen's empire, in the flesh.
I didn't know what to say. I should have recognized him instantly. Was Prince Keldran mad? The curtsy I gave him should have been a floor-height bow.
There's no need to be flustered. I am a student, just like you. Please, call me Keldran.
If you insist. Keldran. His relaxed chuckle made me even more aware of my awkwardness. How could a member of the most important family in the Empire be stuck here just like I was? After collecting myself, I decided to ask him about his family. Forgive me for asking, but...
Is this about the Imperial family?
His curt tone was enough to tell me that he did not wish to speak about them. Please, forget I said anything. The candle flickered, casting soft shadows on his face.
I simply wish to have a relaxing break, rather than exhaust myself with court formalities. What about you? What made you stay?
I shifted uncomfortably under his gaze, suddenly conscious of the extreme polarity of our circumstances. Instead of lying, I omitted part of the truth. I thought the break could be a great opportunity to get ahead in my studies.
How diligent. That is an admirable goal, and your determination to stay and pursue it when all others have left speaks strongly for your success.
You praise me too highly.
On the contrary, I speak only the truth. I see from your uniform that Rona has blessed you. You'll get to observe the adepts of 3 different kinds of magic. It'll be worth your time.
He's not the only one staying, it seems.
We are not the only ones staying for Elor Rona.
With the snap of his fingers, the candle snuffs itself out without giving smoke. I wish I could do something like that.
I'm not surprised Midan is not here, but Keeva's absence is strange.
4 is a cozy number. I smiled at the prospect of sharing Elor Rona with someone else.
I will tell them to come tomorrow. I had a small feast in mind with secret gifting, too.
It's hard to buy presents for strangers.
Well, that's exactly why I want you to meet them first.
Face to face with the prince, it was hard not to notice the way his golden hair brushed against his sharp features. So distracting was it that I immediately agreed to the secret gifting, despite being strapped for cash. I couldn't back away now.
Shall we meet here again tomorrow? About the same time?
I'll be there. This was the first invitation I had ever received. It made a tender feeling emerge within me for a brief moment, before dread crushed it. With what money will I join the secret gifting? I tossed and turned in my bed that night, thinking about what kind of people Midan and Keeva would be. And picturing Keldran's warm smile and the candlelight turning his eyes into pools of honey. Money or not, I want to make this work. Seeing the hallway so devoid of life felt wrong. Amplified by the cavernous ceiling, every step echoed loudly. I wonder if I'll meet the others on the way. A dissonant echo spread through the hallway. Footsteps and bells? Where were they coming from? I looked around, but the hallways and the staircases were warping the sound too much. Hello?
Ah! There you are!
A pile of walking decorations descended the stairs. No, that was incorrect. I could see 2 arms keeping everything together, and 2 legs under the pile.
Just a second.
When she put down the decorations, I saw the girl underneath. Her delicate braids were collected at the top of her head and flowed over her cyan cape.
Hello. I know who you are, but I don't think you can say the same.
Are you... Keeva? She twirled around with a curtsy.
The one and only. And you must be Mike.
She knew my name already, unlike many of my classmates. I liked her already. Are you going to the library?
Yep. Keldran put me in charge of the Roventide decorations. What do you think?
She showed me her bounty. There were holy branches, ribbons, and bells, plus a thin casted crown and an augury board. I had never seen so many decorations in one place. Let me help you with them.
Oh, appreciate it.
No matter how little I tried to move, the bells made a hellish echo. The door to the library was open. Keeva and I squeezed inside and offloaded the decorations onto a table.
I could hear you coming from the other side of the academy.
Oh, did I buy too many bells?
They won't make noise once you hang them.
But that's why I got so many. Their ringing is so cute.
Keldran chuckled and walked over to look at the decorations.
This will suffice. Right, Mike?
Oh, yes. A blush crept onto my cheeks. I hadn't been asked about my opinion in a long time.
Do you happen to know where Midan is?
Right. He was supposed to come as well. When I saw him last, his sending stone was glowing and he didn't look that happy.
Even when clicking his tongue, Keldran appeared dignified.
Well, we'll start without him then. What do you say?
I hope he won't mind.
And I hope he will.
I have the feeling Keldran and Midan don't much enjoy each other's presence. Keldran sat down at the head of a nearby table. A gesture that was simple, yet commanding. Keeva and I took the seats on his sides.
Well, we all agree we should have a dinner party, correct?
Even Midan agreed.
Excellent. Mike?
That sounds lovely. Perhaps we should divide up our duties now. I'm not good at cleaning, but I'm a decent cook. I had made a huge fool of myself. Keldran looked at me with confusion before smiling awkwardly.
Cooking? There will be no need for that. I will make some arrangements with an inn in town.
Oh, of course.
Do you also miss the food from home, Mike?
When someone hands you the perfect excuse on a silver platter, you take it. Yeah.
Well, it's decided. Now, who's in favor of secret gifting?
That's all you've been talking about for days now.
Because it's the best part of Elor Rona.
He was right. It was. I had always enjoyed picking presents. What if they were on a budget? Perhaps I could make something myself.
I'm in.
Same here. Watching them get excited for the festivities brought a big smile to my face. This is what Roventide was all about.
Oh, we should draw the name of our secret giftee.
We went to work and had 4 folded strings of paper ready in no time.
Allow me to do the honors.
He drew a string and unfolded it. He glanced at me for a second before hiding the paper. Am I his secret giftee? Butterflies fluttered in my stomach at the thought. A commoner and a prince. Finding common ground in a gift. Like that would ever happen.
Ah, nice.
Keeva looked delighted at her giftee.
Your turn, Mike.
I drew one of the 2 remaining strings of paper. Keldran? I read the 7 letters of his name again and again and again. My newfound confidence was gone. I couldn't give the second prince a handmade trinket. What would he possibly be lacking?
Let me mark the remaining paper. I'll give it to Midan when I see him.
No peeking.
I wouldn't dare.
At what time do the shops close today?
Earlier, I believe. So if you want to have enough time to look around, you should leave now.
My eyes were drawn to the pile of holly branches. Holly branches. My eyes were drawn to the pile of holly branches and ribbons. But shouldn't I help with the decorations?
I will take care of them.
Such is the burden of the tallest in the group.
Keldran's chest rumbled in a chuckle.
Mike, do you mind if I tag along?
Not at all. I would appreciate the company. She was friends with Keldran and could certainly help me pick a gift for him.
I will see you tomorrow then.
I followed Keeva out of the library and had to force myself not to give Keldran one last look. Keeva and I chatted each step of the way. She was a never-ending font of curiosity and seemed eager to get to know me.
That's amazing! Not many get a scholarship for lumens.
Thank you. She was a noble, just like my classmates, but it didn't feel like it. It was so easy to talk with her, with Keldran too, despite his presence. My thoughts were more than happy to focus on him and recall the way his hair curled just so.
Can I tell you something? I sort of have a little crush on the person I'm shopping for.
Midan?
Yeah, and now I have no idea what to get him.
You two were in the same boat, but you couldn't admit it so freely. The thought was comforting. We spent the evening touring different stores and sharing ideas back and forth, but I hadn't had so much time in a long time. I hadn't had so much fun in a long time. The shops were closing soon, but Keeva insisted on visiting the last one.
It's now or never.
We were both empty-handed. Everything we had seen was either too generic or too pricey. I didn't want to look cheap, but with the little money I had left, I didn't really have a choice. A variety of pawned and second-hand items were on display, from antiques to curio and trinkets.
Ah! This looks perfect for him.
She held a small wood and metal shield up to view. It was hard to tell the value of a lot of the goods here, and the shield was no exception. I didn't know anything about Midan. Would he like the shield? Trust your instincts.
The craftsmanship is excellent. Look at all the details. It's ornamental yet functional.
If only it was that easy for me.
Well, I'm settled. What about you?
A couple of items had caught my eye. I could get something safe, like this candle. Its golden hue had caught my attention. It was almost the same shade as Keldran's eyes. Festive and handmade. Perfectly suitable Elor Rona gift.
Ooh, I think I know who you're shopping for.
I tried to mask my awkwardness with a chuckle. Isn't a candle a bit too boring, though? This is my second choice. I showed her a second-hand lightstone. polished by use, it only needed to be charged with magical energy to shed light for a whole night. Useful for cramming during exams, among other things. Cramming other things.
More practical. I like it.
It's a better gift, but it's so expensive. A ring in the same price range caught my eye. The bulky golden band was inscribed with an insignia whose details have been lost to time. Topped with a large topaz, it was perhaps a bit flashy for my taste, but nobles often wore flashy things. An old book also caught my eye. The first edition of a classic novel, a coming-of-age story about a heroic young prince. I had read it enough times to know the story by heart. Keldran is similar to the main character, in a sense. I absent-mindedly picked the book up to study the damage to the spine. I had only ever seen Keldran within the library, but did he even like reading? Would he like to receive an old book? Huh? Hidden between the pages of the book was a delicate pressed flower. It was so frail and thin that I didn't dare to touch it.
Oh, that's quite pretty. And the tome is a weighty one, too. You have a lot of good ideas. It'll be fine no matter what you pick.
After looking at all the options, I decided to purchase.
Alright, chat, what do we think?
Definitely not the candle, that's lame.
Book.
What?
Book.
I think book or ring.
No, there's no way he would want a ring. He's the frickin' prince.
I guess that's true. He has so much jewelry to choose from. Probably the book.
If not the book, the gem. I feel like he's a practical sort of guy.
It's quite possible.
We did find him in the library, though.
The library where books are?
Then you need to read them by light so we get the gem.
So we get the ring for him to wear on his hand while he read book. No, I'm just kidding. Book.
Book?
Yep.
Allison chat says book.
Pile an answer. It was a bit of a risk, but it was a novel that I would have recommended to Keldran. It was a bit of a risk, but it was a novel that I would have recommended to Keldran. The fact it was cheap, despite being a first edition, was just the icing on top. The best gifts are both thoughtful and affordable, after all.
Well, now, I'd call this trip a success, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
I wonder if Keldran managed to set up all the decorations. There were a lot of bells.
Guess we'll find out tomorrow. I was looking forward to it. By the time we went our separate ways for the night, I was brimming with anticipation. Falling asleep was going to be hard, knowing the excitement tomorrow would bring. Things were going so well for once. It felt like I was finally making friends. The hearty aroma of stew beckoned me to the prefect's room. The closer I came to my dinner destination, the more my nose detected. Notes of cinnamon and nuts, the mouth-watering richness of a roast turkey. My empty stomach growled at the promise. Don't embarrass me. I could hear music from the other side of the door, along with two sets of voices. After a moment of hesitation, I pulled open the door. I pushed open the door. Wow. Keldran had outdone himself. A festive tree stood proudly by the windows, festooned with the garlands Keeva had bought and her concerning amount of bells. I hope I'm not too late.
Not at all.
Keldran stood up to welcome me. He could have been towering with his height and broad shoulders, but I didn't feel dwarfed in his presence. Perhaps it was because of his warm smile. He looked proud of the decorations he had lovingly arranged.
You're perfectly on time.
Keeva waved at me from her seat. In front of her lay a feast unlike any I had ever seen. I was right about the turkey and the stew. Several dishes were arranged in the center of a study table. Each plate had 3, 4, 5 sets of cutlery. Don't tell me nobles have rules for eating, too. Calm down, Mike. Just observe the others and do the same. The door behind me opened suddenly. A young man with short, fiery hair stepped into the library. I had finally met Midan. His eyes avoided Keldran, glossed over me, lingered on Keeva, and then he said,
Is that herb roast turkey?
I didn't know how to answer that.
Good evening to you too.
Shouldn't you go back to your room and retrieve the manners you forgot there?
What manners?
Keldran's lips pursed in irritation. If looks could kill.
Proving my point again and again.
Keeva stood up to place a hand on my shoulder and one arm on whatever. Keeva stood up. Yeah. Reading. Keeva stood up to place a hand on my shoulder and one on Midan's arm. A squeak left his mouth, and no amount of fake coughing could cover it.
I don't believe you've been introduced to each other yet.
Right. This must be Mike.
And you must be Midan. I've heard so much about you.
Nice to meet... Wait. Who's been talking about me?
I have. Mike is staying here to study like crazy, just like you. Perhaps we could all do it together.
I expected a curt reply, perhaps a snort, but Midan blushed and looked the other way.
If you insist.
Keeva's crush certainly seemed mutual. Dead set on embarrassing me, my stomach groaned loudly enough to be heard by everyone.
If that isn't a sign that we should begin, I don't know what is. I already have.
I eagerly took my seat, trying to pretend I had not just made a fool of myself.
His Second Highness looks ready to give his speech. Please, don't.
We should at least give our thanks to the Lady of Fate and the Lord of Change.
Sensible. Unlike someone else at the table.
Seeing them poke at each other reminded me a bit of my siblings back home.
I shall begin.
He closed his eyes and recited a short prayer to Rona, goddess of fate. Despite the lack of rhymes, it bore the musicality of a song.
What he said.
My eyes were closed, but I could picture daggers being thrown. It was my turn to offer thanks. The prayer I knew was much simpler, but none of them minded. Keeva's was even shorter.
Now then, may the feast begin!
Midan hid his hand under the table, away from Keeva. He was channeling some sort of magic, and soon enough the little bells all around us chimed in a happy chorus.
Ah.
The food was so delicious that I had to remind myself to mind my manners. I really didn't want to humiliate myself in front of Keldran, but the gravy was divine and the stew was something. The stew's vegetables melted in my mouth. Whenever I caught myself slouching, I straightened my shoulders, trying to look as composed as he was. How could he make cutting broccoli look so dignified?
How do you celebrate Elor Rona in Ismet?
By not speaking while chewing.
Midan rolled his eyes and gulped down his bite.
We don't. This time of year is brutal in the mountains. That's why I decided to stay. The winter here is much milder.
Words left my lips before I knew it. Won't you miss your family?
Not everybody does.
Right. I had almost forgotten how private Keldran had been about his reasons for staying.
I surely don't miss the hag after she forced me to stay here.
Midan! That's no way to call your mother.
We chatted throughout dinner, and when even the dessert was finished, it was time to head to the library and exchange presents. Colored lights cast a warm glow over the library, shielding us from the icy cold beyond the windows.
Mike.
Keldran's hands rose in offering. A red ribbon wrapped the gift box meant for me.
This is for you.
Nolan. Oh wait, never mind. I was so excited about unwrapping it that I held my breath. An angel greeted me from inside the box, a stone statuette with delicately carved wings. The base was ornate, with protruding marbles that looked like buttons. I instinctively pressed one, and the angel opened her mouth to sing a Roventide carol. I started to hum along, unable to mask a huge smile, and Keldran joined me with his velvety voice. This was the best Elor Rona I could ask for.
Is it my turn yet?
Midan?
I had some choice words for him, but I didn't want to spoil the exchange. Keldran, thank you. It's a wonderful gift. I stroked the marble angel's long hair, amazed at the intricate carvings.
My turn. Keeva?
Midan's arms sprung toward her. With a smile, she unwrapped the box still in his hands and looked inside. Then at Midan. Then at the contents of the box. She didn't look too happy.
Thank you?
Her hand fished out a knife? Keeva studied the blade in her hand in silence.
And here I thought Ravenians are supposed to be charmers.
Leave that name out of your mouth.
Well, it's, very sturdy? A very sturdy dagger.
Right. Always handy to have. You can do a bunch of things with it. Cut fruit, defend yourself, shave, pry something open.
A deafening silence filled the library. Keldran was quietly snickering at Midan's lack of tact. I could only imagine what was going through Keeva's mind. Shaving, Midan? Really?
You put a lot of thought into it.
She sheathed the dagger and pocketed it.
Thank you.
Midan looked away before putting on a brazen face.
Well, what did you get me?
You'll have to wait for that. Mike?
Right. My box wasn't as fancy as theirs, but I had done my best to make it pretty. I held it high for Keldran to take. I wish you a wonderful Elor Rona. He unwrapped the box and smiled at the book safely tucked inside among the padding. It looks a bit worn, since it's the first edition.
What did you get him?
It was a princely story fit for a prince. Keldran's fingers traced the embossings on the cover.
It's a lovely gift. Thank you, Mike.
It was Keeva's turn, and she held her box towards Midan.
My gift is the opposite of yours.
A feathered tickler?
Not even close. When he saw the shield, his mouth formed a perfect O.
Oh, this is awesome!
He immediately adjusted the straps to secure it on his arm.
Oh, thank you.
Ha! Since all eyes are on you now.
Keldran produced a thin metal crown from behind his back. I had seen it before. It was lying in Keeva's pile of decorations.
It's time to elect our king.
It was a Roventide tradition to crown a king of misrule, the leader of merrymaking. It seemed fitting for a crown to rest on Keldran's head, but there was only one of us who perfectly embodied misrule. Keldran unceremoniously placed the crown on Midan's head. It sat tilted instead of straight, and that made it even more fitting.
Finally. A Rovenian in charge.
Midan puffed out his chest.
How does it feel, you lesser highness, to be a vassal for once?
Simply grand.
Keldran's face said otherwise, but he wasn't giving Midan the satisfaction.
Everyone, it's time to party.
He had gone all out, too, with dexterity games and a chalkboard to keep score. I wasn't doing half bad, but the true competition was between Midan and Keldran, who kept trying to outplay each other.
And the winner doesn't matter.
Why did you keep score, then? He approached the chalkboard and wiped it clean with his arm.
Did I? Well, it's gone now.
Keeva raised an augury board in the air.
I have one last game I want to try.
It was made of wood, and all 3 shallow metal bowls inserted into it. And, well,
I shall wait for you.
thank you. It was made of wood and had 3 shallow metal bowls inserted into it. Despite being so simple, it was a conduit for powerful magic. And fun.
Oh, that. Mike, want to explain how it works?
Leave it to me. The rules were simple. We all had to pour magic into the bowl, and spirits would use it to communicate with us, challenging us with truths or dares.
I'll dim the lights.
The library grew quiet and still. Outside, a blizzard picked up with a howling gust. An omen, perhaps.
You look scared, King.
No, I don't.
We formed a circle around the augury board. In the dark, nobody saw my cheeks glowing red when I felt Keldran's gloved hand wrap around mine.
now.
We broke contact to let our magic pour into the bowl and take form. It swirled almost lazily, shifting hues like a kaleidoscope. Then it morphed, forming a languid hand that pointed towards me. Hello? It beckoned me over, and I obliged with excitement. Truth or dare? I picked dare. A mouth formed with an amorphous magic, curled in a smirk. When it opened, a whisper filled our minds.
Face me, you dare.
I've made a huge mistake.
Face it?
Does it want to fight you?
I haven't done anything to it. Maybe it just wants me to find it. I was trying to appear brave despite my distress.
Where could it be hiding?
In the clock tower, I think. Our instructor told us to avoid it since we're inexperienced.
Is it safe for you to go alone? Won't you get possessed?
That's not how violet magic works.
It took a moment to collect myself. I took a moment to collect myself, took a deep breath, and stood up. I'm going.
Say hi to the spirit for me.
And close the door quickly. I don't want to feel the cold.
I felt Keldran's watchful eyes on my back as I slipped out of the library. The hallway was already dark. The howling of the wind echoed, carrying from one side to the other of the academy. What's the quickest way to the clock tower? After a moment of thought, I rubbed my cold arms and walked briskly to my destination. The spirit only asked me to face it. It won't spook me, I hope. The door to the clock tower was closed, but not locked. Did the spirit open it for me? It whined as I pushed it open to reveal utter darkness. Mind your step, Mike. The spirit was nowhere to be found. I was alone, cold, and I couldn't shake the tension off of me. I'm here to face you? Nothing happened. Hello? Then something rang in my ears. It was a voice, but it sounded wrong, warped by secrets that I couldn't yet grasp. Light erupted from above me, so pure and strong I thought I'd go blind. The ferocious beat of my heart was all I could hear. And then...
On.
I instinctively rubbed my eyes, but they were not hurting. When I looked in front of me, Keldran was there, with one hand on the door and one to shield his eyes.
Mike?
The light had washed away from my fears and doubts. I felt proud, worthy of facing him. My hands were shaking from the excitement. I did it. I completed my dare. The clock tower had returned to darkness, and I could only hear Keldran step back inside.
And I have witnessed your victory.
He lifted his finger to ignite a spark that could light our faces.
I won't lie. It suits you.
I was alone with him, and something precious swelled in me. A deeper understanding of my feelings. I treasured it within me, reassured by Keldran's light. Not yet. I can't tell him just yet.
Shall we return to the others?
When we returned to the library, heavy bells rang to mark the end of misrule and the first hour of night. Keldran took much pleasure in deposing Midan, and after some more games and an additional serving of dessert, it was time to end our celebration. I briefly wondered if the fun days I spent with the others would change my stay, and they did, for the best. Keeva, and sometimes Keldran too, regularly invited me along to their attempts to fight off boredom, and today our destination was the garden. It had snowed so heavily that the academy seemed covered in a thick blanket of snow, soft as powdered sugar. Keeva, who had volunteered to watch over the pond, had asked us to tag along.
How have you been doing this every day?
Kyle!
No, they said they were away, so they might not be back yet.
Kyle got snowed out.
We'll give them another minute. If not,
Hi, I'm back.
perfect.
So sorry.
Oh, Kyle.
Perfect timing.
Hey guys, don't eat 12 cookie dough raw before streaming. Fun fact. Okay.
Eat
Yeah.
everything raw before streaming.
Ayo. Almost every day.
The water had frozen over, and a thick layer of snow concealed the pond from sight. With a twirl of her hand, Keeva made it roll to the side like a blanket, revealing the ice surface. Are the fish in there alive? The ice cracked as she pierced holes into it.
They're taking a rest. And now, with access to the air, they'll survive.
Until the spring, when I will eat them.
Your timing is impeccable, as always.
What? They're there to be eaten.
With nothing else to do but admire the view, we were ready to return to the comfort of the academy halls.
Hey, your lesser majesty.
Midan had snuck away from the group to make a snowball, which he was now weighing in his hands with a menacing smirk.
Take this!
With a flick of his wrist, Keldran summoned a barrier.
What exactly?
As the snowball slowly slid off the magical barrier, Keldran ran a hand through his snow-free hair.
Well, that's not fair.
You know what's not fair?
What?
He was so focused on her sweet smile that he didn't notice the snowball she had conjured behind her back.
This!
Keeva's snowball flew in an arc, narrowly avoiding my head and smacking Midan on the nose.
Oh, you traitor!
Keeva wasn't finished yet. Snowball after snowball, she playfully pelted a woefully unprepared Midan with snow. I couldn't help but join in with their laughter. And when I turned to Keldran, I realized his gaze was fixed on me.
I had having fun.
Then Keeva turned her attention to me. You wouldn't!
Wouldn't I?
Conjured snowballs were already pirouetting around her, almost vibrating in anticipation of hitting someone. But Midan started it!
Wouldn't it be best if we refrained from using magic?
Keldran was addressing the others, but really he was looking at me. I was the only first year, the one without a full grasp of the basics yet. If I wanted to have a chance at winning, we had to fight the old-fashioned way. They're holding back for my sake. I decided to start making a snowball.
All right. No magic.
Keeva's magically formed snowballs gently fell to the ground.
Well, are we making teams?
I exchanged a knowing look with Keeva, who took a step closer to Midan. Then, well, that put Keldran and I together.
Here, Mike. You may use these.
He slid off his black gloves and offered them to me. They looked much nicer than anything I owned. Are you sure? Keldran answered by placing them in my hands. Warmth crept up my cheeks as I stood there, unable to come up with a proper way to thank him.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. The gloves were wonderfully soft on the inside, but too big for my hands. They still retained Keldran's warmth. The snow wasn't as biting anymore.
Well, we should.
Without the cold to make my hands stiff, I was the only one with the snowball ready, and Midan's face was the perfect target.
Hey!
Laughter erupted from all of us, him included. He was doing his best to sputter and look offended, but the huge grin wasn't fooling anyone.
And the first point is ours.
I didn't know we were keeping score.
Midan crouched to take a handful of snow.
I'm going to obliterate you two.
If you say it enough times, maybe you'll start believing it.
Keldran and I rushed behind the cover of a tree, large enough to hide both of us. Have you ever done this before?
I saw it happen in the streets of the capital.
He crouched to pat a snowball together. His fingers were red from the cold. Are you sure you don't want your gloves back?
I will, once we win.
Is losing not an option?
Losing does not appear in my vocabulary. I hope you perform well under pressure.
Hey, yo. While we were talking, Keeva and Midan had formed a pile of snowballs off to the side.
Show your faces if you dare.
You think you can throw one while crouching?
Too confusing?
Indeed.
At his signal, I emerged. Well, not emerged. At his signal, I emerged from one side of the tree. And was greeted with a snowball to the forehead.
sorry.
Keldran's chuckle was infectious. With a big smile, I wiped away the snow and searched for Keeva, who had ducked behind a wall. I'll get you for that.
I said I'm sorry.
All right, all right.
Ready to admit your defeat?
No, I'm calling a truce. So, who's the winner, Mike?
What if I told you that I lost track after 20?
What?
Craving the warmth of the academy, we decided to head back. Amidst chattering teeth, I looked at Keldran's hands to see them stiff and red from the cold. Your gloves! I quickly took them off. I should have given them back earlier.
Allow me.
With a smile, he summoned a flicker of golden light in his palm. Healing light. The magic purged the visible discomfort in his hands, all while filling me with a strange sense of serenity.
Keeva?
Yes, please.
The flicker moved over her achy hands.
And what about me?
What's the magic word?
Forget it.
Rolling his eyes, Keldran sent the spark flying towards Midan anyway.
You know, we might not have kept score, but I'll count this one as a victory. I finally saw Mike laugh without a care in the world.
Her arms reached out for us.
Group hug.
Do I have to?
Yes, Midan, you're no fun.
His eyes were drawn by me. My heart throbbed sweetly.
Come join us.
You're the only one missing.
Laughing again, I joined them. Unfortunately, the break was coming to an end, and the gifts for my family were still in my room. I had decided to go to the mailer's study, but my feet were bringing me anywhere but there. A heavy sigh escaped my lips. The gifts I prepared for my family were all in the meager box. I didn't have to mail it. I could deliver it to them by hand, and risk never coming back to the academy. Posting it in my stead would have sent a message. It would have told everyone that I would not visit them and would spend the festivities alone. I was pacing back and forth, unsure of what to do, until a gloved hand waved in front of my face to reveal a perplexed Keldran.
So, this is where you've been hiding. What are you doing?
Struggling.
I can see that.
His eyes fell on the box, and his expression morphed into something that was quickly hidden beneath a smile.
Mike?
I'm fine.
Clearly. Chairs in the corner look more comfortable than ever. Would you care to join me? Just for a minute.
I was overwhelmed. The letter from home, that wasn't coming. My studies that were not progressing as smoothly as I wanted. The pitiful box in my hands. The fact that Keldran was gracious enough to lend me his ear. The corner of the hallway housed a small table and a couple of chairs. I had never seen them empty before the I had never seen them empty before the Hiberna break. Thank you.
Thank me by sitting down.
Yes, sir. That stole a chuckle out of him.
So,
The small box on the table looks so out of place next to prints. This is not really about the package.
it's merely the tipping point.
Keldran was insightful and had proven to be so kind. I decided to share my concerns with him. You heard what I said?
I didn't actually.
Oh, I decided
it.
to share my concerns with him. Did I tell you that I'm here on scholarship?
Keeva mentioned it to me.
A scholarship can always be revoked. I'm here now, but... I swallowed heavily. My mother, busy as she is, she's carrying a baby sibling to term, and at her age, the risks are so much greater. I must not have made much sense to him, jumping from one concern to the other. I could be home helping her, but I'm here. If I don't succeed at Lumens as an exceptional mage, all her sacrifices will have gone to waste. I can't let that happen.
Have you looked into asking for a leave of absence?
If I leave, I might never come back.
Oh,
I was glad for the chair beneath me, when I would otherwise have sunk to the floor. And so I study, because that's what I'm here to do. And worry, because how could I not?
the more you worry, the less you can focus, and thus a vicious cycle begins.
I was showing him an ugly side of me, insecure, afraid, indecisive. And he didn't have platitudes to offer. No, he was a shoulder to cry on, kind and steady and grounding. We continued talking until the shadows around us began shifting. Hours had passed, disguised as minutes. Keldran was a wonderful listener, but there were things even he would not understand. He was a prince, after all. Keeva and Midan were nobles as well. They never had to worry about the price of bread, about eating the same thing for a week in a row during bad months.
Did you just switch mics off? Because it came through really chunky.
No?
Sounds better now. Okay, can you do that line again?
Yeah. How does it sound now?
Fine, back to regular.
Okay. He was a prince, after all. Keeva and Midan were nobles as well. They never had to worry about the price of bread, about eating the same thing for weeks in a row during bad months. They had no idea of the sacrifices my family was making to let me stay in here. Oh. Don't make fun of me. They had no idea of the sacrifices my family was making to let me stay here in comfort. Would they understand?
Mike, the novel you gifted me.
Did you finish it already?
I read my favorite passages again today.
Ah, of course he's already read it.
The pressed flower you left inside was a lovely bookmark.
He was talking to me, but looking at the box.
How did you feel about the secret gifting?
I hope he isn't pitying me. It was fun.
Was I not inconsiderate to suggest it without asking you first?
You didn't treat me any differently based on status.
You're kind to spin the situation that way. But I still feel the need to apologize.
What for? He placed a hand on his heart.
If I had asked for your opinion instead of imposing, I could have spared you some worries.
He was not letting my wealth dictate his opinion of me. There was no pity in his eyes, only honesty, and perhaps a tinge of shame. Thank you. It almost looked as if he wanted to touch my shoulder for a moment, but his hand retracted instead. I caught myself leaning forward and relaxed into the chair. Wow, I've been talking your ears off.
How dramatic.
You're rubbing off on me.
So, what do you want to do about this package?
Hey, yo. I don't know. Being a student at Lumen's Academy was a one-of-a-kind opportunity for someone like me. But the sacrifices my family made were filling me with so much guilt. Go back and risk never coming back to the academy, or send the package and spend the rest of the holidays alone? I explained everything to Keldran, without glossing over how indebted I was to my mother and everyone.
Are you open to suggestions?
I nodded.
If all choices look equally appalling or dreadful, wait until that changes, and a clear winner emerges.
Huh. Thank you for that pearl of wisdom. We stood up and stretched our legs, and I turned the present over in my hands. I guess I'll take this back to my room.
I'll walk you there.
The first year dorms were on the opposite end of the mailer's study. Have you seen Keeva anywhere?
No, but Midan asked me to avoid the gardens at all costs. His cheeks matched his hair color.
Were they finally going to be more than close friends who could steal glances and touches? I shared a look at Keldran, whose face mirrored my own. We might not be allowed in the gardens, but there's a window there. We both approached it, surveying the inner courtyard. There were two sets of footprints in the snow that converged and diverged and led to Keeva and Midan, closer than they had ever been, with their fingers intertwined and snow all over their clothes. The two misshapen snow angels on the ground were already being covered by fresh snow.
We should give them some privacy.
Right. Our eyes kept lingering on them.
Huh. I never took Midan for the type to make snow angels.
The things he does for Keeva.
I haven't been to the first-year dorms in a while.
The closer we were to my room, the sweatier my hands were becoming. Thankfully, he wears gloves. My thoughts were racing at the countless possibilities. Could I invite Keldran into my room? Would he accept? What if he refused? Did I have the guts to invite him in?
Is this your room?
Yes. My answer sparked something in his eyes, a playful streak perhaps, like that of a lion toying with a gazelle.
Have you ever had a room inspection?
I didn't think prefects could do them.
We can't. I was just making sure you knew.
Is that a roundabout way of asking if he can come in? Am I the only one being weird about it? Why do I need to overthink everything? Do you want to come in?
Pardon me?
He leaned forward, unable to mask a grin that told me that he had heard me perfectly. To be a gazelle. Would you like to come in?
Oh, since you asked so nicely. Yes.
The sharp light filtering through the window made my room appear more drab than usual, and totally unbefitting for my guest. At least it's clean. Keldran's golden eyes were drawn to the ornamental plates nestled in the wall's niches, and I started blathering to fill the silence. They were already in the ruin when it got assigned to me, and nobody ever came to claim them.
I'm surprised you have kept them.
They do add a touch of color. His gift was on a cabinet by the entrance. Keldran smiled when he saw it, and then he looked around. The book I had left open on the desk drew his attention. I decided to show him the spells I was working on. You can look if you want. He leaned over to survey the content. I'm really struggling with divination.
So that's what it is. Well, if it's any consolation to you, I understood very little of the augury system written there.
Likewise. I sat on my bed before gesturing for him to take the chair. I don't think my heart could have taken it if he sat next to me. How can he make sitting look so elegant? Seeing his poise made me straighten my shoulders as well.
Did you know that we're the only 2 students left at the academy?
Keeva and Midan are still on campus.
Well, that might be true. I'm afraid they'll be in a little world of their own for a while.
He snickered.
Making snow angels.
Midan is never going to hear the end of it. Are you going to stay at the academy until classes start again? He avoided my gaze to look out of the window.
I wish. I will have to leave tomorrow. Not attending the Imperial banquet would have consequences.
Elor Rona is an important day for the Imperial family. I guess even Keldran can't escape his responsibilities. Then his words sank in. I would be the only person left at the academy. All alone during festivities meant to be shared with family. All alone, without the few friends I had managed to make. I hated it.
Tell me, where do you come from exactly?
Keldran's words brought me back to the present. To my room. I focused on my breathing and fought back the tears. Elige, a small village on the edge of Fia Tower?
Feature. Feature.
Fia Tower Forest.
Fiatore!
Fiatore. On the edge of the forest. He leaned forward with a smile that was all for me. Somehow having him look past my sadness to see me cheered me up.
I have been there. Well, to the forests, not to the village. The mists that permeate the woods hide many secrets.
He must have been to Rumene. That's on the opposite end of the forest. I always wondered if it's so misty around Rumene because of the lake. On the eastern side, where I'm from, the forests look so much less...
Less magical?
Yes. Or it might be me sticking to the road and avoiding the sacred woods around the lake. His smirk reminded me of the night we played Truth or Dare.
Ever been there?
Only once, before discovering I could cast magic.
Yet here you are, unscathed. Perhaps the Fae saw the bud of magic in you before it blossomed.
Are they really able to see it? I thought they would hate me, coming from a family of carpenters and all. He didn't even try to mask his laugh, but his eyes weren't unkind. I didn't know they wouldn't. I was apologizing all the time for the trees we had felled to make furniture. If I was truly a gazelle, then why was I not scared in the presence of a lion? Perhaps because I knew he didn't see me as one. There he was, handsome and out of place in my too-drab room, and yet he made me feel at ease. My troubles weighed less on my shoulders after our talk.
You speak so highly of your family.
Keldran lowered his eyes, then turned to face the window and the sky beyond. And you never speak of your family at all. I was too polite to say it, but his glance told me that he knew the unspoken words between us. There was tension in his face, in his slightly pursed lips. I had looked at him enough in these past days to notice it.
I wish I could do the same. I wish I was at liberty to tell you more.
He was quite formal for someone who had insisted I drop his title. What was he hiding? Keldran did not want to talk about whatever that was. and I didn't want to push him. I understand. Bells tolled in the distance, marking the first hour of night. The light was being sapped from the room while the sky remained white-hot. Gleaming light framed Keldran's profile, regal as a statue.
I'm afraid I must retire for the night. Pack everything for tomorrow.
Sounds thrilling.
Doesn't it just?
He stood up to smoothen a crease in his clothes.
I will leave tomorrow at 9 and head for the docks. If you wish to return to Allige, I don't know, I just rule the
I
place.
said a liege.
Allige? Sure, we'll go with that. Trying to get in touch. We might be able to do the first stretch together.
I'll keep that in mind. Keldran bowed to me, a prince lowering his head for a commoner. A sight that made my heart skip a beat. He lingered on the doorstep just a moment more.
I do wish you a pleasant night.
That night, instead of being plagued by nightmares, I dreamt of being a lion. As silly as it sounds, it feels as if Keldran is helping me, even in my dreams. He had already left, judging by the time. I threw a glance outside my window to the pond and saw Keeva and Midan there. Lost in their own little world, as he aptly put it. I dressed myself and left the room to be welcomed by emptiness. The common room was deserted. The hallways echoed with my steps. Something at the edge of my vision caught my attention. It was a letter. It floated right in front of my face, tickling my nose. Yes, I'll open you. Once I took it in my hands, the magic that animated it waned. It was from home. I couldn't help but smile as I broke the seal. How mistaken I was. Collapsed? I don't remember much of the content of the letter, but thinking back, I can still feel the dread that it instilled in me. My mother, stubborn even during her risky pregnancy, had collapsed from exhaustion, putting herself and the baby in even more danger. My father couldn't attend to the business. He had to take care of her, and without him, who would? I was the only one who could. Without the business, who would feed everyone? Who would pay for repairs on the roof? How could we keep warm? The words on the paper were all smudged. My tears had washed out the ink. I clutched the letter to my chest and felt something simmer and bubble and erupt. I screamed at the top of my lungs without anyone to hear me. It was unfair. Why? Why? Rona, why? If all choices look equally appalling or dreadful, wait until that changes and a clear winner emerges. I need to go back. Mother. I ran back to my room. I could barely see through the tears, and my hands were shaking so much I had to clutch them together. Did I even have enough money for the journey back? How much did I need to pack? Did I have to resign myself to never coming back? I don't know how much time I wasted there, overwhelmed and alone, frozen by fear. Only when I started going through the drawers, a solution presented itself to me, a ring that would quell all emotions. It was given to all violet mages to help us overcome the fear of knowing the future. quite useless for a divination novice, until now. As soon as I slipped it onto my finger, a pleasant numbness washed over my frantic thoughts. First, I checked how much money I had left. Enough to go home, not enough to come back. Oh well. I was still terrified of what that meant in the long term, but the ring pushed those feelings to the back of my mind, made them small and manageable. Let's pack everything then. Without my emotions to weigh me down, I managed to pack all my belongings. Not even wrapping Keldran's gift managed to bring me to tears. Numbed as I was, all that was left was the box with the gifts I had prepared. If I'm feeling like this, imagine my siblings. They were the ones who saw Mother collapse. Clarity dawned upon me. The gifts might make them feel better. Bags in hand, box in the other, and most of my scholarship money in my pockets, all that was left was taking off the ring. When I slid it off, everything came back like a whiplash. The detachment that had helped me so much felt wrong, almost perverse. Get it together. I tossed the ring on the desk and walked out. When the door clicked closed, heavy tears began to muddy my sight again. I need to take a carriage to town. I don't want the coachman seeing me like this. Without the ring to calm me, I was growing more frantic by the minute. I had not checked when the ferry to Thoros would leave, and since Keldran had left earlier that morning, perhaps I was already too late. If I can't get on the ferry, I'll walk it. I was desperate. When the carriage arrived in town, I thanked the coachman and hopped off with my things. While I wasn't crying anymore, I wasn't any less overwhelmed or alone. In a moment of selfishness, I found it unfair for the town to be adorned with bells and garlands for Elor Rona, looking at its prettiest while I was a mess.
Mike?
The snow crunched under 2 sets of footsteps.
What are you doing here?
I tried to hide my face, but it was too late. I'm sorry.
Don't say that.
Keeva offered me a handkerchief, smooth silk from my cheeks.
If you packed everything, does that mean...
I'm leaving. My mother. Keeva left Midan's side to give me a hug. How I wished my hands weren't full so I could reciprocate it. She didn't even seem to mind. Without me, they can't...
If telling us makes you cry, don't.
Keeva mumbled something under her breath.
What I mean is that you don't have to dwell on it to fill us in if that makes you feel bad.
They didn't know what I had told Keldran. They had no idea that going home meant I would probably never come back. This is a farewell.
Can we do anything to help? Anything at all?
I don't know when the boat leaves.
It was supposed to leave half an hour ago, but there was a delay or something. They had to change the windmaster midway.
Keldran wasn't pleased about that.
He's still here.
You still have time if you want to hop on it. Tell you what, how about we help you with your bags?
I can do that.
Excuse me. A horn blared through the town, startling us all. The ferry had arrived at the docks.
You must be eating chocolate chip cookie dough. Give me the bags.
I've had 12.
Fuck you guys. Time to run!
The docks were on the opposite end of the town. By the time we arrived, I was out of breath, feeling side stitches, and my shoes were soaked through by the snow.
Let Bike on board!
They were already loosening the ropes that connected the bridge to the ferry's deck. This might be the last time I see both of them. I didn't have the proper farewell we deserved. I grabbed my things and jumped on board as they were cheering me on.
Write to me once you arrive home!
As the workers around me were undoing the knots, I felt one of my own in my throat. I stood on the deck, waving my hand by holding the presents in my arms. All I could muster was a whisper. Farewell. Sorry, the cookies. The horn blared again, so loud it made me wince.
Was that?
It was my tummy.
Oh, thank God, I thought that was cookies.
Then Keldran, handsome Keldran with those kind golden eyes, walked out of the cabin.
Ah, Mike.
The ferry began to slice through the waves of the river, carrying me away from Lumen's academy.
What happened?
Time seemed to freeze, yet my cheeks were feeling hot.
Oh, we should head inside.
He took some of the bags and opened the door for me, covered in snow with puffy eyes and frozen eyelashes. The cabin was warm and welcoming. The other guests threw glances at us, but kept to themselves. Keldran and I went to a corner, and I all but collapsed on the chair he offered me. Instead of platitudes, he gifted me with his touch. Through the black gloves I had worn myself, his gaze on me, his hand on my shoulder, they gave me clarity where the ring had given me numbness. There was nothing else I could do for the following hours. That would change once I reached Thoros. My mother. She needs me. That was all he needed to understand. Keldran knew. His touch lingered for a moment before he retracted his hand.
What will you do?
The scales had finally tipped to reveal what my heart wanted most all along. For once in my life, I will have it all. I remembered the dream he had inspired that night. I remembered being a lion, growing into my own potential. I will go home to see my mother and help with the family business. I will help them. And once she feels better and I have time for myself again, I will use it to work and recover my scholarship money. I will come back. I'll study twice as hard if that's what it takes. I will become an accomplished mage. And I will see you at the start of the new term. And I will express my feelings for Keldran.
May Meritus and Rona be your witness.
He brushed his thumb on my cheek to catch a stray tear. Enveloped in the soft candlelight of the cabin, Keldran looked like a vision. To think that his eyes would be drawn to me, of all people. Huh.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Really?
You deserve nothing less.
Roused by his words, my heart throbbed in my chest. The gentle rocking of the boat made his hair brush against his skin. Oh, how I wanted to thread them between my fingers.
Mike, your newfound determination is inspiring.
Yet it was Keldran who had inspired me all along.
There's a lovely tavern in Thoros that I would like to visit with you. A celebration, you could call it.
Does he mean a date? The docks of Thoros were heavy with disgruntled people too late for whatever business they had down the river. The piercing cry of a baby reminded me of Mother, and my baby sibling almost ready to meet the world. Just a little longer. I crouched to collect the rest of my bags, but Keldran had already taken a couple.
Let me help you.
Thank you. Would the people recognize him? Would they see the second prince carry the bags of a commoner and think that we... I wish I could be as nonchalant about it as Keldran was.
What a ravenous crowd. You'd almost think there was a prince on board.
The cookies again. I wanted to chuckle, but the blaring of the horn stupefied me. So deep it rumbled in my chest.
And tummy.
And tummy. So deep it rumbled in my tummy and yeah.
Jokes aside.
He quickly slid the lower hem of his cloak in between my fingers and the package I was holding, connecting us.
I do not wish to lose you.
Be still, my heart. His words set my cheeks ablaze. He just doesn't want the crowd to separate us. Yes, that's what he means. That's all he means.
Don't forget to breathe.
Right. If my hands weren't full, would he have offered to hold them in his own? Would he have taken his gloves off? My mind was racing with possibilities.
Follow me.
Now that my movement wasn't hindered by all the bags I'd packed, I was able to nimbly walk behind him, treasuring the silky feeling of his cloak beneath my fingers. Thoros was beautiful around Elor Rona. Lights were encased in floating ice spheres, and well wishes were carved on the frosted windows. When I had visited the city before on my way to Lumen's Academy, I had seen the square by the docks chock full with carriages. None were left. The ferry's delay had put in disarray the entire system.
It seems we'll have to wait here for a while.
I was still holding the hem of his cloak, and that emboldened me to speak up. You offered to go to a tavern. Your offer to go to a tavern. Does it still stand? I did not have the guts, however, to ask him outright. Keldran looked at me over his shoulder, and his lips had a pretty curve to them. He had graced me with many smiles, each one more mesmerizing than the last. Breathe, Mike.
Who am I to deny you some respite and a celebration?
Now that I knew I couldn't do anything to hasten my journey home, I allowed myself to stay in that moment and savor it, desperate to clear my mind of what was to come. Keldran was a charmer, and I hopelessly enthralled.
Will you allow me to treat you?
I told him, "Thank you. I appreciate it. Finally, someone offers me some fucking money."
Their spiced mead? Ah, it will warm our frozen bones.
The tavern's exterior was decorated with a snow sculpture of stacked tankards. Cute. A fire was sizzling happily in the hearth. This tavern was much bigger than the one in Elige, and even had musical instruments playing by themselves in a corner. The smell of spices, roast, and fresh bread reminded me that I hadn't eaten anything yet. How come you know of this place? We approached the closet table and stacked all my bags on a chair.
It was recommended to me.
Keldran pulled out a chair for me. Next to it, he was the picture of composure and elegance, save for that smirk. He knows exactly what he's doing. If he wanted a reaction out of me, he got one. I was blushing, but didn't look away. Thank you. He took a seat in front of me. Not a second later, a barmaid approached to take our order.
Some warm cinnamon mead. Mike?
The same for me.
Ah, fantastic. What do you think of a roast to share?
My stomach growled at the thought. Yes, please. She confirmed our early dinner orders and left. I stretched my legs under the table, yearning for the warmth of the hearth. So, what will you do once you're back in the capital?
Oh, I will regrettably stop being just Keldran.
He leaned back into his chair.
The yoke of etiquette and formality will be placed around my neck, forcing me to do things just so, without any real reason.
Sounds thrilling.
Doesn't it? I will enjoy the Vespers, but then I have to endure court until the Calends.
The Calends, the eve of the new year, was an important day for Violet Mages. We were to read the fortunes of the people that came to us. I could practice at night when I'm home. Make some coin like that. A delicious smell fills my nostrils. The barmaid placed the food we ordered on the table, all smiles, before floating away. That was quick. It must be one of the wonders of the city. Keldran began to slowly slide his gloves off. A strange feeling took root in my heart. What the heck? Heart. Not many had seen his trim fingers and broad palms. I had. He took his glass of spiked mead with practiced ease.
Shall we toast?
Under the sweetness of honey, the woody aroma of cinnamon tickled my nose. The warm mead smelled delicious, and I eagerly raised my glass.
To you, and to what you have accomplished. To a clam you have ripped open to emerge as a beautiful pearl.
He waxes poetic with such ease. Our glasses met with a cheerful clink, and I took a sip. The mead ran hot on my tongue and filled my mouth with sweetness, and some boldness, too. My turn now. Keldran's eyes glinted as he leaned forward. And to you, Keldran, a lion that has found in me his pride. Our glasses met again, and we took another sip.
So it is true. I am rubbing off on you.
You sound almost proud. He replied with a smirk, and we set our glasses aside to eat. Keldran cut several big pieces off the roast. The meat was seasoned to perfection, and colorful spices adorned the sizzling skin. I eagerly took a piece as well before watching my manners.
Why so stiff? You're not at the Imperial banquet, although that certainly could change.
I took a sip before realizing the implications of what he had just said. I was about to spit out my drink. What did you say?
You're not at the Imperial banquet yet, although that could change. I invited you to attend with me.
Yes! I screamed inside before being slapped by reality. I couldn't afford to visit the capital at will, not when Mother's fate was uncertain, and mine was too.
That. I apologize. I haven't forgotten why you're truly here. That was insensitive.
No, that was optimistic of you. I should think positively too. Mother will be fine, and my baby sibling will be born without complications. I will help with the business until I can go back to the academy, and I will. I repeated my plan in my mind like a prayer. I accept. Keldran's gorgeous smile returned to his face. The time I spent with him in the tavern was wonderful, but the clock was ticking. He had to be in the capital before dusk, and I needed to hurry home as well.
Parting from someone is always the hardest, isn't it?
It was time to say goodbye. Several carriages were waiting, and we were going in opposite directions. The mead had made Keldran's eyes a bit heavier, a bit sultrier, or perhaps it was my own yearning speaking. I wanted it all. But I was scared, too, to want a kiss. What would happen then? Keldran's gloved hand reached out for mine. His touch was firm, yet gentle. Enough to take my breath away.
Mike,
Yes? He leaned forward to brush his lips against my hand. They were warm and tender, and I will never forget the look he gave me.
I will see you soon.
When I felt his hand slip, I squeezed back. I wanted this moment to last just a little bit longer. I will never forget you. He squeezed my hand as well, my skin against his taut black glove. My eyes were drowning in his own, golden and regal like jewels.
And I will never forget you.
Our hands parted. Our lips never met. A call rang in the square. A carriage was to leave for the capital. Good luck with the banquet. Then his fingers threaded through my hair. He leaned forward and left a kiss there, on my hair frosted with snowflakes. Buried in his chest, all I could do was let his scent comfort me, tinged with the sweetness of mead.
I must go now.
His whisper made me feel like crying again, but this time my tears were of happiness. He took a step back and smiled at me one last time. Goodbye. I had too many bags, yet still managed to wave to him. When he disappeared into his carriage, it was my turn to find one to my home in Elige. It's been a year. It's been exactly a year since that fateful day. You never brought it up again, but is your invitation to the banquet still standing? I would like to give you my gift in person this year as well. I had to take a leave of absence for a term, but I returned to Lumen's Academy thanks to my efforts and Keldran's help. My schedule was packed between classes, the job he had helped me obtain, and the weekends back at home, but I was happy. I sealed the envelope with a kiss. Didn't I tell you that I would have it all?
No. No.
They never
I want
kissed!
more conclusion.
They never fucking kissed? That's...
He also didn't say anything about the baby or his mom.
There's a little more
his
at the
mom
end of
That
the
doesn't...
credits.
No. The baby and the mom don't matter
there's a
at this point.
post-credit scene. Okay.
There's a little bit
Oh,
post credits.
I hope so.
Yeah, you did. I did get a kiss when I played through it on my own. So
What?
Oh.
You
What the
liar.
I
Was it the book?
I-
Was it the book?
no, the book was correct.
Okay.
What?
What did we do? Where did we go wrong? Ooh.
He never received my letter and was returned to me with a stern talking about associating with expelled individuals. Keldran had left Lumens, expelled. But why?
Oh, he's
What?
a bad boy. He's a bad boy?
What the fuck?
And that's where it leaves
Nolan.
off. Mm-hmm.
You got a
Forever.
kiss? Don't lie.
I
Nolan,
There,
I need a
Load,
spoiler.
load your kiss right now.
We'll have to skip through a lot, but
This game was... It might be that I've had too much gin, but this game is just rife with innuendo.
oh, very much.
To be fair, you are also playing with me and Noah, so it's gonna be bad.
I would say it accentuates it. Brings a certain cookie dough quoi to it.
I'm gonna kill you all, I think.
There we go.
Wait, what?
Go ahead, read it out.
Lips against hand. Okay.
Oh, no.
Brush his lips against my hand. That's what I got too. You did lie!
I thought I did. No, there it is. I
He
just
said our lips never met.
yeah, I just maybe was
Yeah.
tired when I read this.
Oh, yeah. And then he gave me a kiss on the forehead. God damn it.
Wow.
Ooh, and then he got expelled. I wonder what he did. Oh my god.
Unfortunately, I don't think it ever gets explored
Bad.
because, from what I've heard, the company has not made a game in a couple of years. But hopefully, they do come back and finish it off.
Well, headcanon, they expelled him for being too sexy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But anyway, that's where we'll end it for tonight. I believe we are off. We are off the week of Christmas, as I believe we're all going to be out. Should be having another one of our Concrit streams next week. Please tune in if you have some time available among all the holiday festivities. Otherwise, have a good night. We'll hopefully see you soon. Be careful when you're enjoying your cookie dough. Have a good one.
And to all a good
Don't
night.
eat cookie dough raw.